I'm just hopping on for a casual chit chat, a sort of deck show and tell. I saw Candy's video and I thought it was just the perfect opportunity to just talk about some decks I've been working with or thinking of working with. Yeah, I don't know, let's just get right into it. So as you can see, I already have 2 decks out, and I thought this is probably the best pairing I have so far amongst the decks that I'm thinking of working with. This is the Faery Forest Oracle, and this is the Fallen Angels Oracle. And yeah, so far I think energetically, visually, they're the ones that work the best together. A kind of a curious detail is that the author of the Fallen Angels mentions that these, let me just flip through them as I talk, but mentioned that the Fallen Angels kind of have like a Fae-like energy to them, so I thought it'd be interesting to compare these 2 decks, see how they work together, because I thought I might bring in a contrast of like light and dark, because this deck is quite light. It's honestly, it doesn't really feel like a Fae deck. It feels more like people cosplaying as fairies, which I like. That's not an issue, but that is something that I'm conscious of when I work with this deck. It feels more like people cosplaying, humans cosplaying Fae or elves or whatever. So that's kind of the energy I get from this deck, and it is quite supportive. It's quite nice. It's not very, like I said, it's not very Fae-like. It's not very trickstery or anything. But I don't know, I just thought these 2 would work really well together. They'd be like, visually, they work well together, and they kind of provide, I don't know, I think they provide an interesting contrast to each other as well. So they're the same but not the same. They just have very similar energies, and I just really like how they look together. Oh, I love that. I love this. Like, that's perfect. And I thought the keywords might be interesting to, like, I don't know, the keywords, the colors, the images. Like this, for example, this is really good. So we have Cimeres, if that's how it's pronounced, with settlement. And then we have bliss with contentment, satisfaction, and security. So we already have similar keywords here that are kind of bouncing off each other, tying into each other. Oh, so we have Ragnarok with destruction, ending, and final moment, with Avnas and enlightenment. Oh, see, this is just, it never ceases to surprise me how perfect this pairing is. It's so beautiful. Yeah, just visually it's perfect. It just, because this is quite a green deck, actually. It feels like an overgrown cemetery, really lush green cemetery. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of a cemetery of, well, I guess it was technically a graveyard that was attached to a church. I used to go when I was a kid with my parents, and it was very overgrown. It was very green. It's very messy. I don't know, all the tombstones were kind of cracked, and some were overlapping each other, wonky. It was a graveyard that had been taken over by the elements. I don't know why I thought of that, but the images in this oracle deck just really remind me of that cemetery. Beautiful. I mean, come on. I like that. Danger with Alstruck, Enchanted, Beguiled, and Spelled. It's an interesting combination. Yeah, this was a combo I was playing with and I really liked. So I just kind of wanted to show it off. Ooh, Wisdom, Paimon with Wisdom and the Wizard. Rune King, Wise One, Counselor. That's a combo I'm enjoying and I'm thinking of using more. But these are both Oracle decks, so I want to see what tarot decks I could possibly combine these two with, or either of these with. I don't know, I think maybe, let's try, I've been using the Zombie Tarot. The Zombie Tarot isn't a deck that, you know, I think I'll exclusively use for Halloween. I'm just feeling it. I'm just really feeling it. I've been using it quite a bit lately. For me, it's kind of like atemporal. So it's not one I want to restrict my usage of, like how some people restrict this deck to Halloween or like, you know, fall, winter. I don't know, I think there's something about colors in this deck that I kind of feel like winter going into spring, if that makes any sense. I don't know. I mean, of course, I think it's perfect for Halloween season, Samhain and October, going into winter. But there's something about this that I really like, that I'm just really enjoying right now. It's a great shadow work deck, but also it just kind of gives me unexpected messages, and there's so much that I could pour over in each image that I like this deck for really, really detailed readings. There's a lot I can pick up intuitively from this deck. So I'm really enjoying it right now. And even though I guess, again, it's not like a very seasonal deck, I don't know. I don't want to put it away for like until October. I want to use this. It is a newer deck to me and I want to get the most out of it. I just don't want to put it away for like certain things or scenarios. I don't know. Let's shuffle this one a bit. I don't know, do these two look good together? I don't know. Andress. Ooh, I like the colors. I think maybe there's an overlap with colors, with tones in these two. Some of them look, oh, okay, yeah. There is some overlap. That's interesting. That's an interesting combination. Floros, Restraint with the Knight of Wands. Yeah, I guess they I mean, I'm more looking at how they look together visually rather than looking at whether they work together thematically or like how well they read together, which I guess is really how I should be looking at these. But I also put a lot of emphasis on how things look together. I'm a very visual person. I'm a visual learner, and for things to make sense to me, sometimes they need to make sense in an aesthetic way, not just a logical kind of way, but more often than not, I get a lot from seeing things work together visually. There's like a lot of information I can get from that. And I think aesthetics are important, really. One of the most important things in tarot, in my opinion. there's so much you can get from aesthetics. The visuals. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just kind of babbling. But yeah, this is supposed to be a you know, a kind of laid back, chit-chatty video. Just chill. Not supposed to be very intellectual or heady or anything. I don't know, I think they work well together. I mean, we have demons on one end, zombies on the other. Danger and the Eight of Cups with this image. I don't know. I think, yeah. I mean, yeah. I'd say yeah. Okay. Okay, I think I'm decided on that one. So these two work well together. I don't know how this would look with the Fairy Oracle. Let me see. I don't think they'd really... I don't know. Also, I really like this card, especially. I really like how androgynous this figure is. Really love it. So, let me shuffle this one a bit. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it does provide an interesting contrast in terms of you know, this deck representing life, nature, fecundity, vitality, and this deck very much representing death, decay. So there's an interesting contrast, at least. I don't know, I could do some kind of like light versus dark again, or, you know, something, maybe a reading where I look at kind of like what's thriving in my life and what's stagnating or decaying or dying. I mean, visually it doesn't pack a punch. Visually, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if they really go together. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it. But maybe in terms of how they read together, that might be an interesting combo. Okay. So what else? Yeah, so there's another deck I want to try out with this Faery Forest. I keep getting this card, and I feel like the deck is mocking me. Like I said, this deck is quite nice, but I do get this card a lot. It feels quite mocking in tone. So I want to see how the John Bauer works with this deck. I feel like these two decks are like they belong kind of in the same family. Yeah, this deck is quite Fate-like. In terms of temperament and energetically, this deck is a lot more Fate-like than this one. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, visually they're quite cohesive, I think. This is more... This feels a bit more lush. This feels a little bit more subdued. Feels very much like... This feels like the trees, and this feels like the forest floor, if that makes any sense. Like, this feels like moss. This feels like a fern or something. I think they work well together. Yeah. I don't know. Again, this is a lot more, this has more, I'm noticing now that this is kind of, has more pastel hues. It's a little bit more, this is a little bit more saturated color-wise. Pigmented. Yeah. Is that the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Saturated, pigmented. This is a lot more desaturated. I mean, yeah, I guess so. And this is the perfect deck for spring. This is a deck I've been using this one almost exclusively recently, and I've decided I don't wanna cut the borders off. I've actually kind of I've kind of turned a new leaf with this deck, and I've realized that I really like it as it is. I actually really like, this is actually a great card to land on, because this is a good example of a tarot association that doesn't really work. I don't know, if someone can see how this could represent the Two of Swords, I'd love to know, because this feels like there's, I mean, I guess you could say the Two of Swords has a lot of tension. This certainly has a fuck ton of tension. But the tension feels different. This feels like an imminent danger, whereas the Two of Swords doesn't have that, doesn't carry that kind of loaded, I don't know. I guess the Two of Swords is kind of loaded, but it doesn't feel like an imminently dangerous card. It doesn't feel like your life is on the line. It just feels more like you're between a rock and hard place, or yeah. You've got your back against the wall, so to speak. This feels like survival. This feels like more like a card of survival, of defense. But I still like it. I still like reading this as a tarot. I think I get a lot from trying to pull the relevant information out from the images, and then also adding additional information from like intuitive hits, what I'm seeing in the cards. Like, say this Four of Swords doesn't feel like very restful. It feels more like something is troubling you. It almost feels kind of Nine of Swords-y. Kind of feels like the ghost of something is haunting you, maybe. I don't know. I think that's an interesting interpretation, for sure. I don't know, it just leads to some really interesting... I love this 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Coins, so much. I've turned over a new leaf of this deck. I'm really enjoying it as a tarot. I don't think I want to cut off the borders, because I feel like once I do, I'm gonna lose some of that. I feel like it's gonna be much harder for me. I don't know why I feel like it would be, but I feel like it's gonna be much harder for me to read with it. Because I feel like with this artwork, it's, I feel like I need something to box it in, if that makes sense. I feel like I need some kind of framework of reference, some kind of guideline for, you know, to know how to read it. Whereas if I completely chop off the borders, I don't know if it might feel perhaps too expansive and too, I don't know, deep. It is very deep. It is a deep deck, but could it feel maybe too deep or like too intuitive in a way that maybe isn't helpful? Like, I kind of want it to be grounded. I want it to feel grounded, so I want to keep the borders. Yeah, I want it to feel grounded in something, even if the images don't really match the tarot associations very much. I think this is one of the art decks. This is one of those retrofitted artwork decks that I feels like the most yeah, of all the art decks I've seen, this is the one with the artwork that maybe less aligns with, or aligns with the tarot the least compared to other decks. But I think that's precisely why I enjoy it, why I like it so much. I don't know. Okay, let me see how it looks with... So let me see how the John Bauer looks with this deck. This is the Mantra Oracle. It's a French deck. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm liking this already. Yeah, I'm liking this. I like the colours. I don't know, it'd be interesting to see how these two mesh, like how they read together. Like combining the mantras with these kind of like a more folksy kind of fae-like energy. I don't know. Might be interesting to see. Because for this one, honestly, I don't really use the mantras. When I'm meditating with mantras, I do, but more often than not, I use this oracle mostly for the images. So I read it very intuitively. I might pull from, you know, from the meanings of the mantras, but otherwise, it's a very intuitive deck. See if there's... Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I think it does. It does, maybe. Yeah. It's not as perfect a match as some of the previous combos. At least it's not as perfect a match as the very first combo that I showed, but I think it works. Now I've got another, let's see. I've got another combo of a deck I bought recently, a Spanish playing card deck that has illustrated pips. Well, you know, semi-illustrated. It's so beautiful. And I got this dirt cheap. I'm really happy about this purchase. It's this deck. It's called the Neoclassical Spanish deck. Comes in this box. I think these are the backs. Like how, I know, it's just stunning, and has some interesting gilding going on. It has gilding just on the corners. I don't know if you can see that, but the gilding is just on the corners. So this is honestly a stunning deck. So stunning. So cheap, and I'm so happy to have it as part of my collection. I haven't tried reading with it yet, but I don't know, maybe because I don't really read with playing cards much. It'd be interesting to see how these pair. I don't know, I think maybe, no. I don't like how it looks. I don't like how these two look. I think this is maybe too pastel. This has, I mean, this has some pastels. It's more jewel toned. Is that how you would describe this deck? Jewel toned? Yeah, I don't like how these two look together. Maybe, let's see. Okay, yeah. These two work. Oh yeah. These definitely work. Let's see. Find a good match. Yeah. These two work, for sure. Yeah, I like that. I like that. It'd be interesting to combine a playing card deck with a tarot, reading-wise. I don't know how those two would read together, really, but I mean, I'd like to try. I'd like to give it a try. And then, what else? What else? I think I've covered almost all of the decks. Oh yeah, I have this my new, this is my new Visconti Sforza / Golden Tarot, but mini. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. It's like the tiniest deck I own. It's like doll-sized. I love it so much. Yeah, I'm obsessed with it. Oops. I don't know. Yeah, I like it. Similar tones going on here, I guess. Yeah. These tones feel warmer, while the tones in this deck feel slightly cooler. Yeah, these feel more cool toned. This deck feels more cool toned and this one feels warm. Cool. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I think that works. Okay, so that's that deck. And I don't know, I think this is too tiny to really pair with anything. I can't really see myself pairing this with anything. I kind of just like it on its own. But if I do find a pairing that works, I don't know. Let's see. How about combining tarot with tarot? 2 tarot decks. Let's shuffle this one a bit because I keep showing the same cards. I don't know. Maybe? I mean, visually it doesn't really speak to me. I don't know. Maybe. And this is very much a spring deck as well. Absolutely a spring deck. because of like the florals. Yeah, I'm seeing a theme. I'm seeing a theme here with my spring decks. Mostly, for the most part, are kind of green-ish, lush, and have floral patterns in them. I think that's it for now. Wait, no, there's one more, which is a complete outsider, but I'm going to show it anyway. I think I must be the only person in this community who thinks this deck is cool, who actually thinks this deck is nice to look at visually. It's such a guilty pleasure, but the Garbage Pail Kids tarot. It's actually a really clever deck. It's got illustrated minors, so not pips, no pips as you would expect from an Insight Editions deck. Actually, it's fully illustrated. And it's really clever. And I think that's what I like the most about it. And I think it looks good in its own way. And you're probably yelling at your screen right now. What the fuck is wrong with you? But I like it. I really like it. It's really funny. I like it. It makes me feel... I mean, the Garbage Pail Kids kind of is a bit before my time. But I still remember them. And I still really think... I think it's really clever, visually. And this feels like a spring deck. This feels like an Aries deck, specifically. This very much feels like an Aries deck. Sorry if you're an Aries and you're looking at this and you're like, no. You're like, no, what the fuck? But this does feel like an Aries deck to me. So I might be using this one. I have been using it quite a bit, but I might be using this one a lot during this season. I just love it. I love this death card. It's gross, you know, but I just get a very, very specific vibe from this deck that takes me to a very specific point in my childhood and just makes me feel something. It just gets something out of me. And like I said, visually, it's really clever. It's very, obviously it's very sarcastic, I guess. It's supposed to be, I mean, it's supposed to be humorous, but I don't know if everyone would see it that way. But it is really clever with how they use these, the characters to depict these different concepts, these different tarot cards. I love this Wheel of Fortune. Oh, and this High Priestess is like, this High Priestess is everything to me. But yeah, this is definitely the outsider of this video. I don't know if I'd pair this with anything. Maybe the Zombie Tarot? Let's see. Let's just quickly see how that looks. I don't know. I don't like how the cardstock... Yeah, I don't like that the cards stick together. Don't like that. Actually, I really like this. I really like this. I think, yeah, this these two actually work together really well. Yeah. What? This is wild. These two work really well together. This might be one of my favorite pairings so far. Yeah. Okay, I like that. I like that. Okay, so that's it. Hopefully this video didn't drag on for too long. But yeah, I just wanted to show off some decks that I've been considering or have been working with. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like a bit of a check-in, I guess. Plus I really enjoy watching these kind of videos, like show and tell type videos. And yeah. So yeah, I'll see you guys around.